you guys. Welcome back to the Not About Us podcast. This week's topic, you've already seen by the title, effective communication.
Yep.
We need to talk.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, because that's how you feel every time I text you that.
Yep.
Every time I text, we need to talk, period. He's like, go ahead, cue your feelings.
What's going on?
And
what done happened?
Half the time I just be laughing because I just know how he feels about when I say that phrase.
Yeah, y'all. It makes my mood go from like, oh, we chilling, we on a good thing, to yink. Like, oh man, it's a dent somewhere that we need to hash out.
Yeah, but I know that's how I have to get his attention. So it's necessary. It's very necessary. But with effective communication, I want to bring up a topic that a lot of people in society like to say that doesn't sit right with me at all. And it's a lot of grown people. I'm not confrontational. I don't like confrontation. Mm-hmm. And I look at them and I'm like, what is confrontation? Like, like going up to somebody and speaking to them.
Tell them how you feel.
And I said, is that not communication? I mean, yes, but it's... And I'm like, so you'd rather feel how you feel and or gossip how you feel to somebody else or vent out and still never get what you need from that person than going to go speak with that person. Like, that's deep, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just good with either not saying anything at all, and some people are just more like brushing under the rug until stuff hits the ceiling fan, and then now things are like
all over the place.
You know what I mean?
So let me ask you, where do you feel like that stems from, though?
I don't know. I really don't know, because I don't know why people don't like to communicate.
But all right, so I would say for me, when I think about kind of what you said is like why people don't like conflict, I think about being a little kid. Because little kids, if you really ask any little kid anything, they are utmost honest. They'll be like, oh, your breath stink. You be like, dang, I didn't ask my breath stink. Why are you wearing that? You know what I mean? Little kids are so honest, but what do parents tell the kids?
Don't say that.
Don't say
Johnny.
that. Don't be mean.
Johnny, don't say that.
Like, don't be mean. Like, hey, like,
that's not nice.
That's not nice. So as you grow up, you get brainwashed to, I can't be confrontational, because ever since I've been a little kid, if I said something, somebody's correcting me as if I was wrong. So it's better for me to just keep it in and have nobody say nothing to me than for me to speak out. And then everybody looking at me as if like I'm the problem child. Yeah. So that's where I say that's where people get that no conflict, confrontation type mindset.
And that's the thing. Like, if there's a conflict, you should communicate that conflict with the person you have a conflict with.
But you can't.
Because society has taught you, your parents have taught you, generations have taught you. That's not nice.
And don't also, do that. If somebody says something to you, you can't talk back. Don't talk back to me.
Oh my God!
And I used to get in trouble.
I
used to get in trouble a lot because especially in elementary. Ooh, even now, y'all, this is resentment. I need to let it out. Lord help me with it. In elementary school, I always had a mouth for me. I always got to get the last word. Janee would tell you, my parents would tell you, my sister would tell you, anybody would tell you, right? And I used to say, if I was like being kind of smart mouth, I'd be like, well, to have a conversation, I have to talk to you. So I'm not talking back. I'm just talking with you. And I used to run their nerves, and then I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, and it's true though. And I'm the adult here.
Yep.
And I used to always say, why do y'all think adults are the only people allowed to speak?
Yep.
I'm so confused. And it's not even on a disrespectful level. Now, if your mother is talking to you and she's like, I'm speaking right now, which I still don't agree with, because it's not talking back. You don't know what my mind thought process was, and you're trying to tell me I needed to think like you. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. My mom did that all the time, and I'm like, Mama, we do not have your brain. Yeah. How was I supposed to think the way that you wanted me to think? Mm-hmm. Then I would cue the whooping, Or she used to tell us all the time as girls are to be seen and not heard. And I said, I don't like that. And I never did, because, like, why would I be seen and not heard? Like,
now we can ask, where does that come from?
But that's generations of stuff. Like,
but where does that come from?
I've heard that so many times. Why?
Where does that stem from?
I don't know. Slavery.
You need to be seen but not heard. You know what I mean? You need to move quiet. So, I mean, if you think about like all the root stuff of where all this stuff comes from to now, we just call it being I'm non-confrontational. That's just the new spin-off on it.
Right. Or I'm introvert.
I'm an introvert. I mean,
and
you
I'm
can still be
you
introverted.
can still be an introvert and communicate.
But you have to communicate. But I'll say on my flip side of that, on my family, with my dad, he's more of a person like, if you feel some type of way, say how you felt. But
because who gonna whoop you?
But I mean, he would. But but you got to be respectful about it.
Yes.
Because as soon as you get disrespectful, now he has a problem with it. But if you just want to come out and say, "Hey, oh man, this is how I feel," blah 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 blah, then he like, "All right, cool, we can talk about it." Mm-hmm. But as soon as I be like, "Dad, you stupid," da da da, you know what I mean? See, now that's disrespectful.
Okay, and that's another thing to bring up. Like you called him stupid. Mm-hmm. So now the name calling, like that is poor communication as well. Why do people feel the need to call people out of their names when they're talking to them? Because what you're saying out of anger, you've been thinking about when you're not so angry. Mm. And one time I heard my cousin call his girlfriend a B word, and I had to get him together so quick. I was like, absolutely not. Mm-hmm. And he's older than me, and I said, absolutely not. Because if you would have heard Delonte call me that, how would you have felt? Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, I see what you're saying. I'm like, yeah. Like, that's not cool, broski. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like that's the one word. Like, obviously, there's many words. But for me, like, I tell Janee all the time. Like, I hate that word. Even in songs, even if, like, a girl say it to a girl.
It's disrespectful.
I just don't like that word. Like, that's just one word I'll never say.
Yeah. But, ladies, stop having your friends call you the B word. Yeah. Like, honestly. Yeah. I'm going to say this.
And dudes, stop calling females that, too.
The B word. It's not cute. It's actually very disrespectful. Call them by their government name or their nickname. Mm-hmm. It's nothing to be respectful to somebody. Like, it's not cute at all.
And I think you should mention what you said, like what you heard as a young kid that kind of changed your mindset.
Yeah, when I was in high school, these girls in track, I remember this one girl, somebody called her a B word, and she turned around and she said, you will never call me that. Like, I don't know who you used to, but don't call me that because my mom did not name me that. Mm-hmm. And I asked her, I was like, wow, like, why? She goes, Pete, you have to remind people of your value. Because if you don't, they're going to try to put whatever value they want on you. Yep. That's and from true. Then on, I was telling people first of all, we're not that close. And if we close, that's not what you're calling me because it's disrespectful. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Because if we close to me, you should even have more respect for me.
To call me by my name.
If we're really being truthful.
Right. But within our relationship, let's talk about our communication because we're, a year and a couple months in. Mm-hmm. And it's gone from, we've elevated our communication. Yeah. We've gotten to understand each other a little bit better. And of course, with more time, with more years in the game, we'll definitely learn each other more.
Oh, yeah.
But.
And miss the mark.
Of course, but we'll edify each other. Like, that's the purpose of growing and communicating.
Yep.
No, just kidding. But how do you feel we communicated in the beginning of our relationship?
Honestly, in the very beginning, I feel like...
Just friends?
No, it doesn't
From the start, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, like, it was super easy. Mm-hmm. Because, I don't really know you. You don't really know me. And two, we didn't really have anything to base our history off of. So nothing happened for us to be like, oh, we have a problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like a fresh start. So it was like, you can't have no problem if you're fresh. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I'll say it was super chill. Yeah. And I feel like at one point, our communication definitely was either stagnant or going in the wrong direction. Right. You know what I mean? And then two, another thing is what you start to learn is as you get to know that person is like, I can communicate with Janee how I can communicate and be cool with. I got to communicate in her best light.
And my best, like how I need to be communicated? Yep. Yeah, I agree.
And then from there, now I feel like after being a year and some change in, me and you are back to where we were, if not better.
Yeah. And answering the same question in the beginning, I felt like we didn't have no expectations for each other. Yeah. And so as time goes on and you're building the relationship with the person, you're building expectations, whether you're thinking, he should have already known this, or I already said this to him, or we're talking, so he should, first of all, I should not have been thinking that you should have read my mind. Facts. Because I don't know if God made mind readers, but I haven't met one yet. Facts. And I don't think I'm going to meet one. Mm-hmm. So why am I playing games with myself? You know what I mean?
No, definitely.
And I think that's a big thing that females do. I can bring that one up. We tend to think that our male counterpartners are supposed to read our mind.
Or think like you guys think.
But I want to start with the first part.
Okay.
Read our mind.
Okay, all right.
Now you attacking me. No, but like, let's say that I tell him, and somebody used this. I don't remember who used this type of example, but it was a really good example. She said, if I told you to go to the grocery store and I wrote down fruits, vegetables, laundry detergent, and you come back with the wrong brands and the wrong type of fruits and vegetables, I'm now mad at you.
Yep.
But you weren't detailed in what you wanted. You didn't communicate that effectively because you knew that man did not know how to even get to the store, let alone the aisle of where the stuff was located.
I don't know anything.
To even bring you what you was looking for, but you still wrote that list for him to go do.
Yeah.
So that's and that goes to the point of communicating effectively on each other's level.
Yep.
You might need a little bit more details for you to understand what I'm trying to pass on to you, whereas I don't, because I know what I'm thinking in my head. So I had to unlearn that for sure throughout our relationship. But I will agree with you, through the time of us being together for years and change, we've definitely elevated our relationship.
Yeah.
Now there was a big chunk where it was a lot of yelling and silent treatment.
Yep.
And when I say yelling, I'm going to hand that one off to you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take on the silent treatment, because it was me doing the silent treatment and you doing the yelling.
Yeah, I would say for me, like, doing the yelling, it's like when I'm ready to, like, I guess you say, like, explode, I really don't really think about what I say. It's just like, I'm just getting it off my chest. You know what I mean? And that can be very bad, because I could say something very hurtful to Janee without realizing how hurtful it is, because I really didn't think about how it will come off of my mouth. You know, it's just kind of like a thought, boom, gone. You know what I mean? It wasn't even a thought. It was just like a feeling, gone. It wasn't even, I didn't even process, you know, my true feelings. I was just spurting out just what I thought I felt. You know what I mean?
No, and you didn't think you felt that. You felt that.
No,
you
I know what I
make
felt.
Me feel how you felt, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, so we getting disrespectful in this place."
Yeah, but Janee can't handle yelling. You know what I mean? But I'll say at the same time,
I don't think it's that I can't handle yelling. It's that I'm not gonna tolerate yelling.
Okay, you can say that too. But some people can't handle yelling though.
Yeah, some people can handle yelling.
They'll shut
but
down.
Speaking for Janee, I'm not gonna tolerate that, because we grown adults. We can talk. We can talk to hear and listen to each other and learn. But when you start all that yippee yappy yelling, I'm not doing it, because at this point, now you acting like a freak.
Yeah.
Why are you being weird?
But I would say this though. I kind of talked to my guys.
Why are you being weird to me? Okay, sorry. Keep going.
But I was talking to my guys the other day at our last game night, and we were just saying, like, only emotion guys are allowed to feel is anger. Because when we're little boys, right? If we start crying, what they say?
Boys don't cry.
Boys don't cry. Suck it up. You
Yep.
being a girl. You know what I mean? But as soon as a young man or young boy gets angry, nobody checks them. No. Yeah, that's my son. He's stepping up.
Tough.
He's tough. You know what I mean? So we get that mindset of, if I have to really communicate with you, I need to pop off. You know what I mean? Because as soon as I come to you in a soft tone, a soft manner, hey boy, you better toughen up, boy. You know
wuss.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
What saying, yeah.
And then, like, not only are older people telling the younger kids, as the younger kids grow up together, we kind of do the same thing. Bro, why you crying, bro? Man, you acting like a little girl, bro. You being a little baby right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I said, like, if somebody disrespects you as a dude, hey, bro, you better go check him. And if you go check somebody, 9 out of 10 as a dude, you're not going to be like, hey, bro, you kind of hurt my feelings.
Nah,
you're going to be like, hey, yo, my dude.
But
you know what I mean? But that's how guys are. I would say, from what I see, that's how we're raised, to just show anger but no other emotion.
And females, you know, passing the baton on about the silent treatment, I'm more of a, if you make me mad, I'm dead silent. Don't talk to me. Because now if you see that I'm not saying nothing, it's best if you run, grab your keys and go somewhere. Because it's really about to go down up in this joint. I'm crazy. I'm not about to sit up here and act like I'm not. But when I get silent, it's a problem. I have to unlearn that. That silent treatment, you get into the house and, you know, Delonte says, hello, hey, Janee. And I'm not saying nothing because I'm mad at him. And he should know why I'm mad at him, because this goes back to the mind reading. You should read my mind, read the room, and know why I'm mad at you. And read that I'm giving you silent treatment. And now we walking on eggshells for 3 days. It's a problem, because now we wasted 3 days that we could have communicated in that 15 minutes to enjoy the rest of the 2 days, 3 days that we had.
Yep.
So it's a lot of wasted time. And that brings me back to Kathy when she, the advice that she had given you.
Yeah. And basically what she told me was like, basically don't spend your time being mad at somebody or like holding things over their head, because when that person's gone, you're not going to be thinking about, how mad you were at them. You're going to be thinking like, man, I wish I would have loved them more or spent more time with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to never have that, like, I guess you could say, that resentment of not spending time with that person or not knowing that you wasted time that shouldn't have been wasted.
Right.
If you knew that was their last day.
Right.
Because you could go back, you probably would change some stuff of how you did it. So I would say, like, I think naturally I do that, but I do it in the wrong way. Like I said, I'll pop off, and now I'm ready to be, hey, let's be best friends. But then you got that silent treatment like that, like, don't touch me, like,
right, like,
how you
get
dare
off
trying to,
me.
like, how you dare trying to be my friend?
Like, because I just be feeling like you being phony right now, because because I don't feel like my pain was heard. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But my pain can't be heard if I don't open my mouth and speak.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm saying, like, we have to communicate effectively. And going off what Kathy had said, for a while, we had to have a sticky note in the room. And I'm big on these sticky notes, guys. I'm telling you, they work. They really do. You need a reminder. And
tell Postmate, sponsor us.
For real. Because I'm sick of spending the money. But anyways, I would have the sticky note, do not go to bed angry.
Yep.
And it's a scripture in the Bible that says it. Do not go to bed angry. Because if God is going to renew my mercies every single day, who am I to withhold new mercies for somebody else?
Yep.
I can't be asking God, forgive me, and I haven't forgiven my partner.
Yeah, he says that too.
And it's bad to do. Like, don't come to me asking for forgiveness and you haven't forgiven Bobby Joe for what he's done to you. And that's another topic for another day about forgiveness. But I'm saying, do not go to bed angry. You need to talk about what hurt you, even if it's the slice of things. Even if he ate your slice of pizza and you had that slice of pizza saved for later, and this is a true statement, like, this is a true story. Talk to him about that slice of pizza, sis. Because you're going to be feeling like he's trying to eat all your food all the time, and then one day you're just going to explode and be like, why are you always eating my food? True statement, because, that happened to me. And I think I was just talking about me just now, but it's true.
Being transparent.
But stop eating my last slice of food. Because if I try to take a bite of your food, you're going to feel some type of way.
That's very true. But I would say, though...
Can you do that, though?
I'm going to be honest with you. Transparency. If it's in there, I'm going to eat it.
Okay. Well, I try.
That's the communications right there. But I would say, honestly, with what you just said, and how Kathy says, so you know how you're more of the silent treatment? Like, how did that make you want to change? Or was you resistant to changing at first? Like,
No. I'll tell you what. My grandma, when she died, and I realized that my family did not communicate or talk, and I learned so much new stuff about my family during the time of going to the funeral and stuff. I said, we have a problem. Nobody in this family talks. And that was a hindrance. Because if we don't talk, we're letting the devil win, ultimately.
Okay.
And I couldn't learn from that if nobody was wanting to teach me that. And my grandma was a very quiet woman, but I will say, like, me and her were besties for the resties. Like, couldn't nobody tell me nothing. That was my first mother. I'm convinced. She would talk to me in private and tell me things. And now it's coming to my mind. I'm like, okay, like, you were saying stuff that I needed to know from when I got older, but I didn't understand it as a kid. But everybody would think she's this quiet person, but she just knew who she needed to get the message to. Yeah. Because she knew who was going to be the one that had to do the next job. Yep. Because clearly somebody missed it along the road. Yeah. Along the way on the road, right? So that's what I had to learn. That's when I learned and had to get it together. Gotcha. And then I take everything, like Kathy said, you don't know if that's a person's last day. Yeah. Better to get it off your conscience than to live in guilt and regret. So that's when I learned to just get rid of the silent treatment, and anything that bothers me, even if it's the littlest things, I go to Delonte because I know how I am. I build up resentment and I'm quick. You did this, you did this, you did this. I don't want to keep the records of that. I want to keep the record of our love.
So let me ask you this. What about when people say, like my mom said, don't sweat the small stuff?
I can't, at first I agreed with it. And it's true. Some things you just, let go. But then there are some things that are so, we say that they're the small stuff, but the small stuff builds into the big stuff. And if we do not eradicate those small fires, sooner or later, you're going to have a big wildfire. It's a lot harder to deal with the wildfires than it is to deal with the small fires.
Somebody said that. Ooh, I taught you that. I didn't teach you that one, but this guy I talked to in the airlines was telling me that He was saying when you get married, especially if you're in a type of industry that travels a lot, go ahead and pull out the little fires before you come back and it's a wildfire.
Oh, for real?
Because it's easier to manage small fires
Look at God with the confirmation.
Than big fires. Yeah. He actually told me that. I remember that conversation.
Yeah, so.
That's crazy.
I truly believe in putting out that small fire. Mm-hmm. But as for you, like, I know you said, the yelling and the anger, it's taught to you as a young kid, especially as being a man. Do you feel now that you need to yell at me to communicate? Or do you feel like, or how do you feel like when you're angry? Yes.
In the moment, I think it's just like that natural state.
Okay.
Of like, if I really want to be heard, I'll flip the switch on real quick. But that I know that's not me, because as soon as I'm done, how am I to you? I want to be your best friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, like I think that's the only time as men we're really heard. That's the only time that people pay men attention. Because even like, not trying to be funny, but even in some relationships that you see, like if a lot of guys, we don't feel like we can confide in a woman. Mm-hmm. But that's a different conversation for another day. But I think that all goes around affects communication.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if I really come to you soft, you'll be like, man, he being a little punk, he a little soft. Like, I don't want my man soft. I want my man rock hard, tough, big as well as guy. But I would say, like, for me in that moment, it's just like, just say what you got to say, and you're done. But I will say one thing I think that I need to work on, or still working on, is like, even though that's like my, I guess you can say, my world mindset, mm-hmm. I need to go back to the biblical mindset. So basically reversing what was taught, because it wasn't taught right.
Okay, yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So changing that mindset and be like, all right, what does God require of me to communicate?
Right.
And it goes back to the scripture, back to Romans. Like, or is it Romans? Don't quote me. But the part of the scripture of like, love is kind, love is patient.
That's Corinthians.
Corinthians. That's it. Don't quote me, y'all. Don't quote me. I ain't got the Bible.
1 Corinthians chapter 13. You can go ahead and read that.
Yeah, like I said, I ain't got the Bible in front of me, but I know there's other verses in the Bible that also talk about like loving and being patient and stuff mm-hmm. like that. But I would say that's the way that I need to start communicating versus mm-hmm. how the world tells me to communicate. Because obviously when I communicate, the world tells me to communicate, it causes problem in our relationship.
Yep.
But if I communicate to you the way that I should communicate to you, our relationship seems to be built and to go stronger.
Yeah. Like today, it's so funny because we went through a situation today alone mm-hmm. with communicating. And you came home right on time for us to go to the event.
Yeah, I forgot about it.
And I was like, you were so excited to go do your other thing that you was going to go to. And I was like, but you told me if you got home early, you would go with me. Mm-hmm. And I'm reminding you because I don't like to be lied to.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And you quickly switched because you were like, bro, like you bit off way too much. Like, you just wasn't trying to go to that event.
Yeah, I wasn't.
And I was chill. I was like, okay, well, if you don't want to go, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna sweat you.
You didn't say that at first.
No, after I asked you, I was like, but you said you would go with me. Mm-hmm. And then you got mad. And you didn't say anything, but I saw how your demeanor switched.
Yeah.
And it went from happy-go-lucky to straight face, I'm pitiful. And I was like... So now my feelings are hurt because I'm like, dang, like, you don't want to do that. Like, you don't want to hang out with me? Because even if the event is bad, I feel like we still fun, so we can make it fun.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, I really don't ask you for much. And I said it just like that.
And that got under me.
I didn't yell. I didn't whisper under my breath. But I really just said, I really don't ever ask you for much. And you was like, no, because you can relax. Because why are you... And I was just like...
Yeah, I did say that.
Wait a minute. Because who are you coming at? Because all I said was, I don't ask you for much. Mm-hmm. So now you feel hit. And hit dogs are going to holler. And you was screaming. Like, yeah. How did Chihuahua sound?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I only like big dogs, so.
Oh, okay, big dog.
No, but I would say, like, once you said that, though, like, that's the thing. Like, you know, it kind of struck something in me. And I was like, when you hit with that, I don't really ask you for much. Like, the communicating of going back to the thing just went straight out my window. Because then I felt like, all right, so now Janee got, like, I don't never hang out with her. I don't never go do nothing with her. I don't do this. I'm like, so she's trying to say I don't do anything here?
But that's the thing. I didn't even
You didn't say that.
it.
I know. But I'm saying, but just that, them words, like, okay, you know how you said, like, sometimes little small stuff can make a big volcano? You know what I mean? But it just really struck me. But I would say, like, I shouldn't have sweat the small stuff. I should just let it been, hey, bygones be bygones. Kept my cool, and then later be like, hey, yo, babe, when you said that, like, it struck a nerve in me. But did I do that?
No. Or you could have asked me what I meant by that.
Yeah, I could have asked you, or assuming. Yeah, assuming kills.
Assuming kills, can make a booty boop out of you.
I would say, assuming can kill a conversation.
Yeah, it can.
Because now you, kind of like you said, like, now I'm putting words in your mouth that you never said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now my reaction is giving you a different reaction than anything I ever said. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I knew I needed to control the situation at that point because I was like, I'm not going to have a poor night. Mm-hmm. So it could go one of two ways. I can either give him the silent treatment or engage back in his nonsense, or I can talk to him and get an understanding about why he feels the way he feels. Mm-hmm. And I took the high road on this. High five me. Because I really did.
Good job, sweetie.
Yeah, thank you. And I said, why are you yelling at me like that? And, like, we really had to pull the car over. And I told him, I said, you don't have to go with me. It's okay. Like, I see that you don't want to go. And I'm okay going by myself. I'm fine. Mind you, again, and I'm going to let y'all know, because we're not married and we're not engaged, I still am a big person on be single. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying go act single, sirs and ma'ams. No, that's not what I said. But still maximize your singleness. Like, hang out with your boys, hang out with your girls. Still be in your own identity. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted you to go do what would have made you happy. And you felt like I was playing with your mind. And I wasn't. I was like, Delonte, babe, if you want to go play basketball, it would have been fine. Mm-hmm. And you thought I was still trying to, like, no, because I know if you're going to come home. Because I just knew if you would have went with me, you was going to be having an attitude and it would have been a horrific night. And I was like, I'm not trying to have it. I'd rather him go be happy. I'll go do what I want. We come home, we peace, harmony, and eat cake. Mm-hmm. Right? We went to the dollar store and I just saw the spirit manifesting and I had to turn around real quick and I said, Lord, get it together, please. And I really had to pray for patience in that moment because I was already tired today. And then you wanted to come and make it. I was just like, no, stop. Like, don't let him get the better of things. Mm-hmm. We in the checkout line and I'm getting, what I came there for, and you getting your little ginger snap cookies. And I was like, where are you going with those cookies? Because you have some at the house. And you said, well, if I'm going, I'm going to need a treat.
I said, I'm going to need this.
I'm like, why are you acting like my son? Like, what is going on?
See, but that's the thing, though.
I said, if this is going to make him feel better, I will go with it because I do not want to deal with his attitude.
Well, then tell me, but did we not have a pretty good night that night?
We did. Yeah. We ended up having a really good night.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it turned out perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. But you have a way with words that you want to get under my skin and vice versa. And I have to actually turn around and pray for patience. Like, we've been reading this book about relationships and, effectively communicating. Yeah. And the guy did say, if you're coming home from a long days of work and your wife is home or whatever, mm-hmm. and you're coming into the door, and let's just say, you see the house is not clean or something, instead of going off and blasting a gasket on her, why not ask her, what's going on? Or before you get into the house, why not pray?
Yeah, he said in the car on the way home, he prays like, God, give me the patience or give me the love that I need today so that when I get home, I can give my wife the love that she needs. Yes. Or it's somewhere words around there. I was like, dang, that's deep. So like you already changing your mindset before you even get to the house. Because now you're conscious about what's about to happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely say, that's definitely a good one.
And so that was, and this is a big mindset thing for us about communicating. Like, we're trying to get out of our old selves and step into our new selves. Mm-hmm. I can't think the way I used to think because clearly that didn't get me too far. I need to think differently. Mm-hmm. I need to think selflessly. Yep. I need to think on a higher frequency. Even though people say, take the high road, and I'm tired of hearing take the high road, but there's reward in the work. Yeah. There is, like, you just keep progressing on and on and on. You're going to see there's reward in how you do what you do and when you do it right.
Yeah, and I say this, I bring this up since we're transparent. Even I tell you, like, even if, like, you're in a heated discussion or you don't like something, and, like, I see you starting to slip, I be like, Mook, like, you be the bigger person. And you be like, I'm tired of being the bigger person. You don't be the bigger person. And I tell Janee, like, some things I'm just not good at. Some things you're better than me at. Mm-hmm. And I'm learning it from you. But me seeing her pull it together is like a not only a mental thing for me to remember, but also a visual thing. Like, all right, I told Janee this, let me try. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like, you know, when I tell you that, sometimes it pisses you off, and then you kind of get mad at me. But, you know, I think at the end of the day, it's like, keep your person accountable. Yeah. Because when I do wrong, I want Janee to keep me accountable.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And when she keeps me accountable about my communication, I don't like it too often. Sometimes I get even more mad. You know what I mean? But like, you trying to tell me you don't even... And we love to do that. We go from effective to ineffective. You trying to tell me this, and you do... And you... Yes. And instead of... I heard this the other day too. Instead of attacking the person...
Attack the problem.
Attack the problem.
Yes.
So that goes right back to effective communication of... Now my question is for you is, when you in them hot situations, how do you still remain effective?
I asked myself this one question, and my mom's friend taught me this. What is the purpose of what this person is saying to me? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say it again. What is the purpose of what this person is saying to me? Mm-hmm. And if I can't find a purpose, I ask. And I ask in a way that I'm not coming off disrespectful. I'm not being rude, but I'm asking to understand, not to have a rebuttal. Mm. And then I also ask myself, am I listening to have an argument and response to everything that they're saying?
Yeah.
Or am I listening to understand how they're feeling? Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you don't need to say anything at all. Yeah. Sometimes you could just be quiet and you can let the person just come off and let you know. Mm-hmm. Because even with communication, whether it be, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, mom and dad, like, let's, you know, spin it off to the friendships, relationships. Sometimes your friends can come and talk to you and they just need a listening ear.
Yeah.
They're not asking you for your advice or you to be fix-it Bob the Builder.
Yeah.
I just need you to listen to me. Mm-hmm. And if we don't start asking ourselves, like, what's the purpose of what this person is saying to me in this moment right now, you're going to constantly find yourself in a battle. You're going to constantly find yourself with no friends. You're going to constantly find yourself as being the wrong friend when your intentions are pure, but you're just not asking yourself those questions or asking them the questions to get what they need and for you to also get what you need.
Yep.
Or get an understanding. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like, that's how I keep the mindset that I'm going into. I just ask myself, like, what is the purpose of what this person is asking or saying to me in this moment right now?
Yeah.
If Delonte says, da 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 da, okay, what's the purpose of this? Boom. Let me ask him why he feels this way.
Yeah.
Because now I need to understand what started it. Mm-hmm. And if we could get back to what started it, we can cut the growth, and now there's no problem. Mm-hmm. We can pull all the growth of the bad stuff and shut it down. Gotcha. Nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say, I mean, it just depends. If I'm the one that's hot, I don't even think anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just telling you what's coming out of me. Yeah. But I would say on the flip side, if I really see somebody hot, first thing I'm like, dang, she really angry, ain't she, huh? Dang, she going off today. She going crazy. Like, this would literally be in my mind. You know what I mean?
She feisty. You say.
She feisty. And I do that to her. I'm like, you're a little feisty today. And I do that. And I honestly think it makes you more mad. But, like, for me, I'm just sitting there listening, just taking it all in, and just letting her get it out. Now, sometimes I jump in, like Janee says. Sometimes you need to be listening here. And sometimes I'll start asking her questions or trying to talk to her when it's not my time to speak. Mm. You know what I mean? But sometimes I jump in because I'll just tell you personally, like, if you tell me to wait on my turn to speak, I forget. You done said a lot in this time span. Now the question I thought I was going to ask, I done forgot it. So I'm like, oh, let me go ask real quick.
Well, I'm big on, well, if you forgot it, then it wasn't meant to be it wasn't meant to be brought up, because now you were just going to start another argument. You didn't get the principle.
But
no, for real, because if I let you speak, mm-hmm. and I don't interrupt you at all, I'm going to go back on the topics that resonated with me the most, or that needed to be spoke about. Mm-hmm.
But what about
now? If it's my turn, and it's my turn to talk, and you interrupt every 5 seconds, I'm going to just be like, dude, just talk, because clearly you just have more to say.
Now, what if the person's like long-winded, and they didn't been talking for 5 minutes?
Tell them to shut up. Just kidding. Don't say shut up. Don't say shut up. But if they're long-winded and you done went through 5 okays and 3 dangs and oh my gosh, that's crazy 10 times. Somebody needs to tell that person, you wrap it up. What's the point?
Mm-hmm. And I'll also say, though, what the effective communication is, you can talk so much that now when you're waiting for a response, that person don't want to respond because they feel like you taking the whole floor.
Yes, and I had to learn that in the friend group with my girls and stuff. And this is why I always say hang around people who gonna correct you, because two or 3 of the girls in our 5-girl group, we kind of just speak, get it out there.
Yep.
But one of the other girls, she's more reserved. Like, she's not gonna fight you for the spot. You got it. But I can tell she's a lot to say. Like, she's so valuable in our friend group. But how can we show her that she's of value if we don't give her space to talk?
Yeah.
And so, like, we have to learn to chill, dial it back. And, we spoke about it, which is healthy. Speaking about it, it's not confrontation. Reminder, it's communication. We have to dial it back and, say, hey, did you have anything that you wanted to share? And she'll be sharing, and I'm like, wow, like, I needed that perspective.
Yeah.
But how can you get that perspective if, so much noise is going on? Mm-hmm. So definitely, like, sharing the floor, because your voice is not the only voice. Mm-hmm. There's so many other voices.
And I'll say also, too, with the effective communication is, like, for me, if Janee says something that's, like, what I think is outlandish, I would make a face. And if I make a face, or too many faces, let's say that, too many faces, I would shut her down. So it's like me, like, but that's the thing for me. That's the thing that's hard is like, all right, you tell me to express myself, right? But if I express myself like you know what I mean? Now it's like, now it's like I shut you down. So it's like, how do I not be like a stick soldier, but also be a human? You know what I mean? That's actually a serious question, though.
I'm going back to the time when we were just friends, and I remember coming over to your place because... Stop. Don't even sing that song. But when I came over to your place, because your ex-girlfriend, I don't know, but she was doing some foul stuff, and I came over to your place, and I remember sitting on your TV stand, and you sat on your futon, and I had to read you your rights at the time. And you didn't make no face. You just knew to sit there and listen.
Yeah.
Because I was calm, and I was articulating my words with poise, and I was letting you know, don't play with me. I'm not one of them. And you was listening to me. Mm-hmm. So now when I bring up stuff to you, and you be like, eat, ooh, I eat, making all these McDonald faces, now I feel like you testing my gangster and you playing with me. Mm-hmm. Don't play with me because I don't have time. I'm telling y'all, I don't have time. Okay? Mm-hmm. But we've definitely grown. Like, when he used to yell at me, we had to get a calendar. His mom was like, get a calendar and get some stickers. But his mama said this.
But ask her but why did she say that, though?
You needed the visual.
Okay, but, like, because as a little kid, you guys, I used to be not bad, but kind of bad. Like I said, I always wanted the last word. And I used to argue with teachers. So I had a little sticker chart. And it's basically like this. So it's a little chart. Obviously, this is a calendar. And back in elementary school, anytime I got a green listen, anytime I got a smiley face, I would get 25 cents from my mom. So it's just a reminder for me. And y'all, this was a lot of stickers on here. You see there's only like 4 stickers left. So I've been through this thing. All right. But I would say now, that probably went off for what, maybe 2 months, 3 months?
I think it went a good few months.
Yeah, but now I would say that my communication has improved.
Yeah, it was going one day and then back and then one day, but it helped.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing because why would you
gonna call me childish? Well, I don't care.
And whatever the people say, that's fine. It's their opinion. But I never thought it was childish because I was like, if this is what's gonna help you, I'm willing to do what it needs to be done. Mm-hmm. There is no wrong way of doing something if it's a positive, if it's going to bring a positive reinforcement and bring about positive results.
Yeah.
If it's going to bring, hey, I can see that I did not do good this week of talking to you, that is not okay. Because especially if we're going to transition to the season of marriage, whenever you're ready and I'm ready and God says we're ready, we need to have that nipped in the bud.
Yeah.
And so we had to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not childish, but it was effective. Now, a lot of people would be like,
that's
girl, he's not man. Like, that's a red flag. And I'm like, Y'all calling all these red flags, but that's another conversation for another day. I'm telling you. Yes.
Now that you say that, I would say with your effective communication, find out what works in your relationship.
Yes, find out what works for you. Because society will try to tell you, and I'm cutting you off, and I'm sorry, and I know I don't like, I know I just said I don't like doing this.
I'm going to bring it up tomorrow.
But for real, find what works for you. Because if you listen to everybody else about what works for them, and you think it's going to be cookie cut for your relationship, you're going to have problems.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. This is what I'm saying. This is what works for us. But what works for you and your boo? What works for you and your best friend? What works for you and your mother? What works for in any relationship? Anybody. You know what I'm saying?
You and your teacher.
You have to get that.
You and your coach.
Understood. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to be on the same comprehension grounds. Mm-hmm. This works for me. This doesn't work for me. Talk about triggers.
Yeah.
I don't like when you yell. It takes me back. It takes me back, and I'm not trying to go back. So now you have to know, I can't yell at her, because if it takes her back, now we all finna go back. And I don't know where she came from, so I don't want to go back there. And shout out Maddie, because like we'll have the best conversations all the time. She told me, the reason that I'm so good at conversations is because I have them. Like, listen to that. The reason I'm so good at conversations is because I have them. Mm-hmm. You can't be good at something that you're not practicing in.
Yeah.
Basketball players, for instance. You don't practice at 3 or dribbling with both hands, you're going to look like a clown at a circus when it's time to play the game.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to be riding the bench, warming the seats for the good players.
Yeah.
So today's scripture reading will be coming from Titus 1, verse 15. Everything is pure to those whose hearts are pure. But nothing is pure to those whose hearts are corrupt and unbelieving, because their minds and consciences are corrupted. Mm-hmm. We just thank you guys for listening to this podcast. We will see you guys back next week for another episode for conversations that need to be had, but nobody's talking about. Peace.